Hey everybody, we're back. Playing a game that I've been wanting to do for a while, called Echo. I don't really want to spoil what the premise of it is, but it was a pretty interesting premise. I've just had this sat on my console for years now. So let's just do it. This is a weird menu screen. Alright, let's see. Yeah, it seems fine.
I suppose you had.
There we go. Subtitles on. It's good. So I played a little of this, but it's another one of those cases of, hey, I put like 20 minutes into this and then never touched it again because my attention span is garbage. But, you know, I've said it before, why I have the stream.
All our songs were about it. A magical place of life without end. A palace of untold wonders. But only for the worthy. So our lives were desperately dedicated to qualify. Pinpoint perspective on the great reward. Only I never wanted to go. Those words alone could mean death. So when I ran, I knew it meant never stopping to catch my breath. If I wanted to live. And so it was. Yet here I am.
Place feels familiar.
The place I spent my whole life escaping. I feel like shit.
Of course you do. Your wound has healed. The pain is from the stasis and will pass within a week. The nausea will linger, probably intensify when you start to realize that more than 100 years have passed.
Well, way to break that smoothly.
This is not another one of your running away from home excursions. Your grandfather won't send someone to pick you up this time. That's all gone now.
So you decided not to like me. But you've had a century to plan what to say, and that's it? How about you screwed up the best deal we ever had, or you come waltzing in here giving orders, or even Foster died because of you, you stupid bitch.
Yeah, I need to find out who this voice actress is.
I don't like me much either. But I can fix this. I can bring him back.
Rose Leslie. There you go. Not someone you have to see voice acting. She played Ygritte in Game of Thrones.
I don't know how you hope to achieve
There we
that,
go.
little miss, but I suggest you start your efforts by laying back down.
Oh, that's weird camera.
Even for experienced long haulers, which I suspect you are not.
I suppose you had a long time to mull things over. Nothing I can say will change your mind.
So I remember when I first saw an article about this, which is what caught my attention with it. And, like, interesting premise, which is something I always appreciate in games. Not a AAA game, kind of a mid-tier, maybe? Made by former developers from IO Interactive, the people who make Hitman. I think. I could be remembering that wrong. This was years ago. That looks like the kind of surface you don't want to walk barefoot on. 'Cause I bet you those are cold floors.
So where is he?
He? Oh, you mean the cube? Yes, I had a very good look at that while you were asleep. I think you're in for a disappointment. Nothing suggests any sentience. No interface to access the thing, nor any reason to do so. There's nothing in there. It's just a pretty cube.
If we knew how to operate it, we wouldn't have had to.
That's an interesting
This is how I see it.
pathway
You didn't
system.
answer to my orders, and yet you took us this far. So clearly, I'm not the only one hoping that I can achieve something. I can work with that.
Not hope. Respect. For Foster. God knows why, but he wanted me here. The stupid lighter proves it. I suspect staying wasn't even an option, considering how you stumbled on board covered in blood, demanding departure a week ahead of schedule.
Yeah. Respect, then. That'll work too.
Camera's feeling better. Guessing the nausea's wearing off. Goes heavy on the bass. Oh, there you go, Rosalind. It was just going to say. Alright. Every now and then with a game like this where it'll do credits while you're forced to move at a very specific speed, I wonder whether or not moving back will reverse the credits. And I think I've only ever seen like one game where that is the case. Echoes of silhouette when you move the camera, that's interesting. I don't know if Echo was put out on anything else, but I imagine it was probably on PC and Xbox. Oh, that was a weird transition.
I don't see anything but ice.
It's not ice. I don't know that we can even trust what we see. This whole planet eluded detection until about a week ago. No visual cues, no gravitational pull, nothing. Even with the exact coordinates, I nearly missed it.
Interesting.
We're looking for a palace.
How does a planet discard? How does a planet mask its gravitational pull?
Can you see any structures on the planet?
You're looking at it. It's all one big structure, planet-wide. No palace, though. I'm guessing it's some corporate state's illegitimate mining project from the pre-requisition rush. That would explain the heavy clouding measures. The planet is most likely depleted of all resources. An empty shell. Hope the old man didn't pay too much for the coordinates.
You have no idea. Just get me down there. I'll go see for myself.
So this is a game that I feel did fly pretty under the radar. Not a whole lot of people seem to be aware of it. Doesn't help the name. Just one word: Echo. It can be very descriptive of the idea, but one word titles like that tend to blend away more than a lot of others.
You should get off the surface too.
What a strange place.
Right, let's go. Yeah, the premise that really caught me with it, that interested me, is something I'm not gonna say. Like when we get to it, we'll let that happen. But it was an interesting premise. Hello.
There's something here. It must be some sort of release mechanism. Did you hear that? It's definitely doing something.
Huh.
Look, there's an opening down there. It's too far to jump, though.
The suit will soften your landing if charged sufficiently.
And if not?
It will stop you from leaping. The suit reads your intentions from your synaptic activity and receives commands from your voice or eye movements.
Convenient.
A bit archaic, but Foster trusted that suit with his life.
Cutting edge doesn't go well with space travel. The Jennifer alone with the suit an antique.
It's not the suit's performance that worries me.
Suit stores energy in cell meter visualizes total capacity. Charge. Always have one cell at your disposal. So the base cell is always auto-charging. Like Deus Ex Human Revolution. Or I guess Dishonored, which would recharge the energy needed for a blink. Wow, everything looks different down here. Now, a lot more interesting too. Yeah, I'm gonna not spoil the premise until we get to it, because the premise was really interesting.
It's falling apart.
But it's probably something that works better if you're surprised by it.
I wonder how long it's been here.
A composite like that should last forever, but it all looks ready to crumble.
It must be ancient.
Kind of the awkward thing with stuff like that. A really interesting premise that's probably most interesting if you're not aware of it going in. But if you're not aware of it going in, why would you go in? Why would you go in? Like something like Spec Ops: The Line. The main reason I played that was because I heard the premise. But then that also spoiled the big twist of the premise.
It's not just a machine line.
Most digs have a basic infrastructure if human presence should be needed. Probably also rudimentary living quarters. Doesn't mean anyone was ever here, though.
Gramps believed the place to be untouched by humans. A palace built by long-lost technology, patiently awaiting its first human inhabitants. And you figure this is no more than a bootleg mining operation. Not to appreciate the contrast.
I generally lean towards plausible explanations. Your grandfather made up himself.
I don't know about that. He had the coordinates right.
Look around you. This obviously isn't a palace.
Your man might have gotten some aesthetic details wrong, but he wasn't the kind of person who'd risk everything.
Does it depend on what you define as a
I really
palace?
wouldn't get my hopes up.
How do I turn down the volume on the commentary track?
You are overconfident. Immature people often are. You should be taking notes every time I open my mouth.
This could be outside of a palace. Very strangely designed one, but if they're all interconnected on the inside, palace on a planetary scale. That looks like a point of no return. Nowhere else to go. It's not like we're going to get back up anyway. Go.
Slippery. What exactly are these structures then? Have you seen others like them since you're such an expert?
I've had my fair share of halls based on wild speculation. It doesn't matter if it comes from desperate need or delusions of grandeur. There's never anything there but bitter disappointment.
Getting darker as we get deeper, the sunlight's not penetrating this far down.
Foster.
I got the feeling you two have been together for ages.
I've been crisscrossing the spur for 1,000 years. Foster was with me for a century and a half.
Blizzard's covering up the sunlight. Even without the blizzard, how far down would it go? Structures like this placed together like this across the planet. Essentially you'd reach a certain depth and sunlight would never hit it, no matter what time of day it is. Uh-oh.
If you've only been with Foster for a century and a half, you hardly knew him at all. I mean, we've been traveling together for a century, and we only just met.
100-year haul is quite the extreme. Foster's longest was 16. I knew him plenty.
He trusted you, and said that I could too, that you would help me.
Foster didn't leave me much choice. You don't mess up a job for your grandfather and then team up with the person you were sent out to get in the first place.
You could have just handed me back.
You really are naive.
I think you're doing this because you believe there's a chance to get your friend back.
You're so caught up in your homemade religion that you're oblivious to common sense. I warned Foster about you resourcefuls. Best not to deal with your kind.
Why did you then? Get involved, I mean.
Foster disagreed. And gold makes for a powerful argument.
Railings down here, this looks more purposeful. Even as the design of these looks more chaotic. Maybe. Piles of junk. Maybe. Ah. Strange. Could have just been a visual glitch. Ever deeper we go.
There must be a way inside down there. That looks like some kind of landing bay.
It looks like nothing of the sort.
You know, you're nothing like I expected from a friend of Foster's.
Hey, man.
Odd team.
An old rescue vessel from the Requisition and a man without a past. None of our marks knew what hit them. And then we were gone. The stuff we pulled off. You wouldn't believe it.
I believe it. I was one of your jobs.
Weirdest dolphin you've ever
thieving
seen.
rich kid with a gambling problem hardly qualifies. I got the brief. Not much of an extraction, really. No one giving a shit about you where you dug down. Only challenge Foster could see was that your grandfather wanted you to willingly hand back whatever it was you stole from him.
You're wrong about everything. Even Foster.
I seriously doubt that I am. He was good, Foster. Always had his eye on the ball. You may think you knew him, that he felt sorry for you, but he would never let that happen. I don't know what went wrong that night, why Foster died, but I'm sure you don't understand much of it either.
Sorry, I didn't mean to threaten your romance.
Cute.
Remember when it used to be a hot take that Echo the Dolphin was a bad game? And then at some point everybody just seemed to agree that it is a bad game. This can't be a landing bay. It's a landing bay, then how does anything get down here? That does look like a door.
Finally, something. It's stuck. I need some force. Does the gun pack any punch?
You ever played Echo the Dolphin? It's one of the easiest Sega games to get, because, you know, it's in, like, all the Sega collections for some reason.
Gone offline to preserve energy.
Like, every time Sega puts out one of those Mega Drive collections, and there's a bunch of games on there that just aren't good games. Like Echo the Dolphin and Sonic Spinball. And let's be fair, Altered Beast. Oh, this looks more like a palace.
I'll be damned. Are you getting all this?
I'm with you.
Yeah, Echo the Dolphin is one of those games you can play for 5 minutes and you'll feel everything that's wrong with it. I think it's just one of those things of, like,
He was right.
someone,
It all looks
a
completely
bunch of people must have had it as a kid as, like, one of the few games they had. And so they've got nostalgia for it. Yeah, I think I've got that one as well, the one on Steam. The emulation on that is terrible for some reason. Like, you're honestly better off taking the ROMs out of the game folder and just throwing them into Fusion, the Mega Drive emulator. But as a front end for people who aren't too experienced with emulation, putting the ROMs into the ROM, putting new ROMs into that ROM folder, like, it is pretty convenient. When I say the emulation is not that good, it's passable, it's just not as good as you would hope for something that you're paying money for. Stairs.
You were right about the palace. What's the plan now?
We get Foster back, and then we leave.
I was hoping for something more specific.
I suppose we're looking for some sort of apparatus like the one Gramps had.
Would that be the Soul Sucker?
I'll know it when I see it.
Even if you did find the thing, this place is dead. What mythic technology might be here is now useless.
We just need to power her up. Tell her that we're here. I can feel this is going to work out just fine. Hello? Anyone home? I'm moving down. There must be some sort of power below the halls.
So far, there's nothing that suggests there's any kind of power here. Not a single light. Well, the set of stairs going down, a set of stairs going up. Try going deeper.
Anyone home? Anyone home?
Shouting. Is that your plan?
You never know if you don't try. I didn't realise the helmet's visor had opened. What do you reckon, Mir? Left or right?
Anyone home?
Alright, let's go left. Alright, that is a door.
They look like the stone faces at the gates between the garden terraces. Maybe it's a door of some sort. We called them gatekeepers. They were supposed to make us ponder if we were worthy to pass.
You're not getting through without power, and this place is dead.
Keep on trucking. There's another door. Another door. And another one. More doors. Can't open any of them.
Anyone home?
So far, it looks like it's a walking simulator. Explore this empty, dead place. Well, it's not. Like, stuff changes. The premise that I'm not going to spoil.
This leads back up.
So we're back in front of the mirrors. I've never really been into walking simulators. I actually thinking about it last night while I was playing Paradise Killer. I how it does feel very much like a walking simulator, though actually the purpose of it is something I quite like, the murder mystery aspect. Hey, Clem. Yo, Star. How you doing? Yeah, I call the dolphin is 2Cs. I'm gonna disappoint you both, but Mir already made that joke. Back up then, maybe? And to be fair, I think like when I mentioned that I wanted to do this game last night to Chance, that he also made that joke. You know, I can see that, Star. I can definitely see that. You really expected to see a dolphin. Ugh. Now I'm just going backwards. I only put about an hour into No Man's Sky. Got off the starting planet and then just went out for a bit and then didn't do any more of it. Yeah, I'm sure I went this way. I'm sure I came from this way. It's not really even the fault of No Man's Sky, it's just the attention span issue I have. Like with this, I put about 20 minutes, 20, 30, maybe an hour into this. And then just stop because that's my attention span. Like I say, the premise of this, back when I first heard about it, had me intrigued. Which hopefully we'll get to. If I can find where I need to go. See, that's the thing, Clem. The premise of this game is really interesting, but if I tell you the premise, it's kind of going to spoil it for you. One of those really awkward things. Like, the premise is what sells you on it, but it's also going to be better if you don't know the premise. Like I say, it's kind of like Spec Ops: The Line in that regard. Spec Ops: The Line seemed like a standard modern military shooter I never would have played. But because I heard the premise of it, I decided to play it. But the problem is, knowing the premise like destroys the twist of that. Can I just jump over these railings? Is that what it is? I can. That was... God damn it. I'll have to remember that. I got all the endings in Spec Ops: The Line. It was fun. In a horrifying kind of way.
It's a voice.
It looks like a tuning fork.
Yes, obviously. The resourcefuls call them voices. Strike them and let the true tone interfere to find clarity and enlightenment.
Ah, of course.
It can be. I'll agree with that, Mir.
What does that mean?
The suit detects a pattern to the sound, and the decryption is kicking in.
Hello?
Wonder if I'll find Harikari Rock down here. I don't think I can get much more out of that. having the flashlight on the shoulders, interesting idea. But the problem is, like, I look this way while I'm moving, and I'm not getting the light where I need it to be. Which means it would be better if I had a handheld one. Not enough flashlights. If I had like 3 more, it would be perfect. Each wrist, shoulder, and head. Actually makes me think of the flashlight they have in Resident Evil 6. Where it's like an ear-mounted flashlight that you just kind of put on your ear. That was a weird thing. Alright, here's a big set of stairs. Brighter, wider lights. Like one of those, like, 4 million candlelight ones. Yeah, let's go down.
I bet that's an activation mechanism for the door.
Like in the X-Files. Haul a searchlight behind you on a cart.
This is meaningless. Foster is dead. Some things just cannot be undone.
I mean, Mia's right. We've got that kind of thing
If you could
already.
capture the souls of the dead in a cube, and then bring the person back to life, surely it would be a huge industry.
It's not like that. I know for a fact that he's in there.
I have wondered how you came to believe that, but I doubt that I'll agree with your reasoning. You resourcefuls are too far removed from reality to make sense. You've seen nothing but the bought and paid for fairy tale designed by your grandfather.
Well, the reality of my fairy tale upbringing was that it was all about this place. No, even before that, my genes. Graham spent centuries creating his resourcefuls, carefully picking potential from the gene pool.
Capture souls in cubes.
To come here. And this feels very real.
I mean, you started doing that, Clem, and how long before you're just making soulnados? See, that sounds aesthetically pleasing, Star, but the problem is, like, those are a pain to store because you've got to prop them up on something. A cube will stand on its own without rolling around. Like 5 minutes in.
Now, these I know. We had rings exactly like them in the gardens.
The suit detects a small gravity charge inside the scepter.
Perhaps it can power the big door. The pedestal looks like the activation mechanism.
Alright, now I've just got to find my way back.
What's the higher meaning of keeping scepters displayed inside huge rings made of gold? It does seem a bit much, even if you are filthy rich.
The rings were not for show.
Clem's song.
They are part of our training.
Oh, and you do what exactly? Step inside and feel wealthy?
Not quite.
Your brother's soul is mine.
The challenge is to get out in one
You
piece.
will be
The first
next.
thing in there is the only sane thing to do. But as the hunger comes, the rhythm of the spinning starts to sink in. At some point, you realize that starving eats away at your chance of making it out. Then the leap. No, wait too long.
Soul cylinders is an interesting idea, actually.
Almost had me going there for a while.
I can definitely agree with that, Star. Soul cylinders. Solon does.
By the way, I don't know if you noticed that there were no other exits from this pit than the big door. How I hope the scepter will magically make it open.
It will work.
Must be nice always feeling that the world will act in your favor. It doesn't, though. My guess is that you will learn this momentarily.
It's always ballsy of a game like this to spend so long before it gets to the actual crux of the premise. Makes me think of Alien Isolation, how you spend like 45 minutes just wandering around before the alien shows up.
Let's see.
No, the Soul Cube.
Nothing.
Soul Cube in Doom.
Looks like you might be joining Foster after all, just not the way you imagined.
I don't get it. What Gramps did to hundreds of resourcefuls for this? I saw it the day I came to you.
There's Doom 3.
Lies down on a marble surface with a strange...
Well, the Soul Cube is mostly just like a spinning blade.
And the silver unfolds, pierces the skin and slithers inside. In about half an hour it consumes everything. And all that remains is an empty slab of marble and a newly formed cube.
No.
He called it the translation. The flesh and the soul shall enter the palace through separate doors. We said it 1,000 times, never realizing. I didn't catch Foster's soul in a magical cube. He was dying, and I translated him.
You killed
Oh, you're thinking the Soul... Right, the Soul Sphere that's,
Grandfather did unspeakable things.
the Megasphere.
Right? That Foster can come back? That's insane.
It was the only chance we had, and believe me, I'm good at chances. I gamble for a living, remember? That's how I've stayed alive all these years.
The Megasphere's the blue one, there's the beige one, the invincibility.
You think I'm giving up?
Nope, it's working. Just has to let it warm up, apparently. Yeah, I guess we're not going back that way.
Do you see that?
That ceiling.
The dim glow.
The activation of the door must have triggered a chemiluminescent. Not uncommon for evacuation purposes.
Not most of the time. If I'm doing humming, it's usually something else. I had a hum that I was doing for a while, and I was like, where do I know this from? It took me like a while to figure out it's the menu music from the Super Nintendo Mini. That's getting brighter. Sure is. Oh no, what I was humming just then was the circus theme, it wasn't the Super Nintendo Mini thing.
This place is huge. This hallway alone could easily house all the resourcefuls that ever were.
You finding anything here without coordinates would be a miracle. I compared the quarters you're in now with the overall structure of the planet. The palace is everywhere. All the way to the core. Huge sectors separated by the outside structures you were in.
Theoretically endless structure. Virtually endless. Let's break the pattern then.
I'm getting some local increases in energy emission.
Know what it is?
Can't tell. It's not radiation. One of them is close to your location. I'll pin it to your HUD.
Oh, Carnival Night Zone. Unless you prefer hacks. No, binary is all good. Binary is good for me still. Wait until we eventually do the nonary games. And 9 hours, 9 persons, 9 doors, and we have to learn basic
Give it
9.
to him, the old man. This place is spectacular.
Nothing but an infinite palace would suffice for you resourcefuls.
I wish you'd stop calling me a resourceful.
It's what you are.
I had the training, but I never bought into
I
hiked for weeks to see what was beyond the gardens.
Yeah, base 9, there you go. It's been a while since I've done it.
Was there waiting for me. There's nothing out there but people living like animals, fighting to please their immediate needs and desires. They have no ambition, no perspective. Why fight to get the best out of the little...
Yeah, the barrels are the main reason why everybody will know that theme so well.
He went on about the wonders of the palace, but he had already lost me. All I could hear was the blood rushing.
Yeah, people defend those barrels as like, didn't you figure out you're supposed to press up and down? And it's like, no, because that's a fucking dumb idea and it's never done anywhere else in the series.
So I went back with him to follow the training, figuring I'd need it to get away. And I was good. He called me his prize. Before the turn, I ran, just shy of 15. I've been out for 7 years now. Not really what you'd call a running away from home excursion.
Not really, no.
London, you've got to believe me. Foster was a bloody mess and wouldn't have made it out alive. None of us would if I tried to escape with him like that.
He gave you the lighter, so he must have wanted me to take you here. But he would never buy into your grandfather's delusions.
If it was mentioned in the manual, then that just like really proves it was something they knew was an issue. Manuals used to justify the size of game boxes. I feel like that's something people forget. Like, the size of a video game box would often be justified by its manual. I feel like the PlayStation was the only time the manual was made to fit the specific size of the game. But now that we don't have manuals, it's a case of like, why are Switch boxes so big when the cartridges are so small? Yeah, pretty much all the Xbox games have that. Same with PlayStation. Same with Switch. Like, Switch has clips for it. There's never anything there. Like I say, even if it was in the manual, wouldn't make it any better.
Is that a throne?
That's a big chair. Oh. Yeah, that used to be a semi-common thing. The instruction manual would have
This must be it.
a piece of the guide for like the opening section. And it'd be like, if you want to know how the rest of the game goes, buy the official strategy guide. And then they stopped doing that and just putting the advertisements for the strategy guide on the back of the manual. think we've found what we're after.
It looks exactly like the thing that made the cube.
The last few games I bought special editions for didn't have manuals. Persona 5, Mass Effect 3 didn't have the manual. I posted it on the Discord a couple of weeks ago, but we got the special edition of Metroid Dread in the shop, complete in box.
I'm picking up a whole load of anomalies.
And like that didn't come with a manual. It came with a second box. Like you've got the actual game box and then the steel book. Which something else did that as well. Smash. When I got Smash Ultimate, I didn't even buy a special edition, but it came with the physical box and the steel book. It's like, great, I just have an empty box now.
London? Foster?
Right, something's happening. It only took about an hour. We say that, like, let's actually take into account the starting time and then the time I spent on the main menu. Say about 50 minutes.
Foster? Are you doing this?
Ben, I thought I lost you.
It's a good question. Like, it's stated that the suit
And the gravity cloud
has a
nearly
bunch
tore
of
me
stuff.
She's waking up.
apart. More like malfunctioning. If those reaction veins cross... Wait, what's that? Something's wrong with your HUD.
I think it's the cube telling me where to go. It happened when I put it on my back.
Unlikely. The suit is hard-coded and all blocks capped to the minimum. No room for adding to or altering the
Like,
code.
it's a smart suit. Doing stuff like softening the landings when I jump off stuff. It's entirely possible that it could also enhance strength. Is that 600 kilometers in that direction? Going down? Oh, there we go.
See that? The suit's being enabled to interface with the palace. Maybe it's Foster trying to help.
Foster was many things, but not a systems physicist.
Why are you still denying that we have a chance? Everything around us is a marvel.
Everything around you is critically unstable. I think the whole place is malfunctioning. You should be getting out of there.
How? Systems physicist. Oh.
Look, I got a new waypoint, and it's a lot closer.
Those doors aren't active, but this one is. If a game's going to give me the option to close the door behind it, then I'm absolutely going to close the door behind me. Well, that's interesting.
Look at that. Did you see that? It charged my suit.
Huh.
I don't know what sort of holographic phenomenon that was, but it was extremely compatible with the dual retention system of your suit.
Going down.
there are more of them.
Power for your suit won't be a problem. The outside of the palace sectors burn red hot, but even inside the walls and floors I read a build-up of gravity charge.
Why would anyone need power on a scale like that?
I hope it's not part of the malfunction. Overcharging would be catastrophic.
Always seeing the bright side.
Power system meant to run the entire planet. Alright, let's go this way. Feels like it's getting more chaotic.
This is bad, N. The palace system's shut down, but it's still charging. The jewel mass is nearing the Dirac chart limit.
That felt horrible. I couldn't move.
It was a massive energy discharge. It must have made your suit
There you go, Clem.
The lights have stabilized.
The discharge kicked in system processes planet-wide, but it's producing a lot more energy than needed. Building up charge again.
Oh yeah, we're in January now. I need to change the 200 follower goal game. I need to think of what I can put it as.
Another discharge.
Breathable air.
There's air now. How is that possible?
I don't know. The chemical composition of the environment was altered in the blink of an eye. That must have been what the energy buildup was for.
So now we're getting close to the point of... No, we're not underwater. Now we're getting close to the point of, I think, reveal of what the premise is going to be about. No, this place is an entire planet. An entire planet of this.
What the? Flowers? They weren't here before the blackout, right?
No, they were not.
I guess it's part of the welcoming package.
It's really disconcerting when all the lights go out like that. Because it includes my lights.
What's that?
Scorch mark? Did I play this far? I feel like I didn't. There we go.
There are more of them.
Yeah, that's a scorch mark.
Everything is so neat. Weird how it scatters these chunks all over.
No, those are three-dimensional. That's not a scorch mark. Looks like something that's burnt. Flowers, maybe? Burnt flowers? Well, with the Chrysler Building being the path to the true ending, it makes sense that they wouldn't have it as kind of like a roguelike thing. There we go.
What the? This one moves.
Worse, it's alive. The sphere appears when humans or animals are detected in close proximity, but this...
Uncle Owen? And Baru? Hey, Teague. So we're at the point now where it feels like we've gone from exploration of the unknown into really unsettling.
What are they?
Yep, definitely
Can't
unsettling.
trust it, right? I mean, the palace did try to read the cube and then malfunctioned. This can't be the palace attempting to bring him back, right?
No matter the intent, that's not Foster. It's not sentient.
Every time the lights go out, that thing is getting bigger. Is that what the energy discharge is every time the lights go out? Animating those things? Rejuvenating cells?
What does that mean? I get color now.
The suit senses a threat. Yellow means that you might be noticed. Red means you're targeted.
Yeah, those things are growing into humanoid shapes. Sphere activates if life forms are detected lighting up in the direction of the readings. Size of the marker reflects the approximate visual silhouette of the life form. It changes from neutral blue if the suit perceives the life form as a threat. Yellow, you're in the enemy's line of sight, stay there to be discovered. Red, you are hunted. Orange, you're hunted but hidden, the enemy will search for you. But yeah, these things are getting bigger.
They'll be walking soon. Are you still sure this is a good idea?
You know what? Really neat implementation of a concept. Gotta respect it. Really unsettling.
I don't know what's most absurd.
Oh.
The palace populating itself with these grotesque hostiles, or you charging on like you'll be able to survive when they're fully evolved.
I never expected this to be easy.
Nope. Here we go again. See, this is one of the reasons why I also haven't explained the premise to you guys. Because the premise tells me exactly what those things are going to be. Which
What is this?
I think you can figure out.
But why would it build copies of me?
Why can't I move?
It jumped.
The red spikes suggest that you won't survive another encounter like that.
I don't get it. Why would the palace copy and then attack the first human to arrive? It makes no sense.
The constant crashing indicates deep corruption. Those creatures must be part of that malfunction.
The sphere is visible in a critical state. Alright. Yeah, there you go. Those things are becoming me. And there's another level to this that is what made this so interesting to me. Now, on some level, you could say that the enemies being another version, like the main character's model again, is cheap and a good way to save money. It's also really unsettling when it's done right. I like that. I am I am Shadow, the true self. Alright, let enemies.
I'm bringing the gun online. Each shot will kill as many as you can line up.
Uh-oh. That's a lot. Come on. There you go. Crap, 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 crap. Okay, not helpful. Okay, didn't get both. Troubling. Don't mind me, ladies. Just gonna put it out there here. The gunplay already feels better than Resident Evil 7.
They're getting up.
They respawned. Not good, not good. Need to learn the stamina recharge, right? Yeah, alright. We should still be here when you get back, Clip. Have yourself a good one.
So, the palace resurrected them.
Who knows what this death trap is capable of? My guess is things will only get worse.
You really need to work on your motivational skills.
Yeah, going in a horror game, not so much a bad idea. I feel like limiting limiting your defensive options is a good idea in horror game, as opposed to giving you absolutely no defensive options. It's part of the reason why you're not going to see me do stuff like Outlast, because I have no interest in it. Okay, one shot uses 1 cell of energy. Kills any number of targets along its vector. Head or pinky shot makes no difference. See, there was your problem. I was going for headshots, but it doesn't matter where I hit them. Turns red on viable targets. That number of tags currently overlapping. Tagging. That's interesting. That's going to be worth remembering. Push and sprint when it's in blue, only sprint when it's in yellow. Red is exhausted. Probably don't want to be in that. Yes, but also having the resources regenerate is a good thing. Like, I've got two energy there. You see it on the right. The one on the left will regenerate. But if I use that for shooting, then I can't do stuff like jump over railings and stuff. Definitely going to shut these doors behind me. And we still haven't gotten to the part of the premise that really interested me. Position behind an enemy, hold circle to do a lethal takedown. Not completely silent when alert others in close proximity. See, this kind of thing is why... Oh, shit.
I can't see anything.
Use your area scan.
This kind of thing is why I like going off the beaten path when it comes to games. Okay, quite a few. They go down, then they get back up.
Over here. Over here. Hey, over here.
Come on.
Over here.
Uh-oh. Yeah, I can work that. Alright, there we go.
They're getting faster after each blackout. If they swarm you, use the gun's riot function.
Riot function?
Like the main driver, but it We'll knock down everyone in close proximity.
Wish it would stop doing that.
Got it.
Mm-hmm. 4 meters for 108 degrees. That could arguably be more useful than the lethal blast. What was that? Oh, wonderful. Yeah, they're getting faster. They can move at my speed, that's going to become a problem. Uh-oh. Oh, wonderful. Really hope they can't open doors. Yeah, probably. Something I'll have to deal with when we get to it. Okay, didn't hit all of them. Still too far. Yeah, they're getting faster. Mind me.
Over here.
Yeah, I do feel a little bit jipped by that. Yeah, you gotta look at them, they're not perfect yet. Still wrong.
What is that?
I have no idea.
It's creating weird imprints of me. How strange.
Strange is the norm in this place.
Yeah, but there's gotta be a purpose for it. Done it again.
What's that?
The matter is strengthening your suit's ability to retain energy from your surroundings.
What does that mean? 6 crystals and additional cell slot. Alright. I studied all your moves. Study this! Again, there was that.
It's closing fast. You won't make it.
Feels like this damn suit is slowing me down.
You're just out of stasis. It's protecting you.
I don't want that.
If you insist, it'll be painful and your range limited.
Here we go. It recorded me sprinting. That version of Kano, like, it's the thing that a lot of people either forget or aren't aware of. Like, a lot of what we know from Mortal Kombat, like, a lot of what we know Mortal Kombat as comes from the movie. Like, Kano was a Japanese American in the games until the movie where he was played as an Australian. And the creators were like, you know, that's actually really good. Let's just make him Australian.
Activated a new interface. I wonder what it's monitoring.
It's counting down. But to what?
The blackout? Oh. Yeah, they're definitely going faster. Open? Nope. Alright. Oh. Oh. I feel like the 2020 MK movie, it's decent enough, but it has problems. Trying to set up a sequel is one of them. Like how the tournament doesn't even happen in that. Still good.
I bet the pavilion will open when I've collected enough orbs.
It feels less fun as well than the old one. Yeah, adding a new main character was one of the dumbest ideas. It's like, oh, we needed somebody for the audience to relate to, then take one of the hundreds of characters Mortal Kombat has. It's like, oh yeah, no, this main character is an MMA fighter. And, like, knows nothing about the tournament or anything, is a complete outsider who doesn't actually fight for his life or anything. Okay, why not just change that from MMA fighter to movie star and just make the main character Johnny Cage? Which also had, like, the big issue of they tried to explain everybody's powers. Oh, shit.
Only 4 more to go.
They try to explain everybody's powers in terms of, like, magic, which is one of the weirdest things for Jax. Like, Jax's magical power is robot arms. Yeah, that's one of the weirdest things, especially given the advertising of it. It's like, hey, Scorpion and Sub-Zero. Also, Scorpion's barely in it. And Sub-Zero's the main villain. Like, what? And they definitely overpowered Sub-Zero. There. By the time I finish this, these things are going to be perfect, aren't they? a lot closer to me now. Oh shit. Janie's got a gun.
Only one left.
There. Welcome back, Clem. We're getting into the point of the premise that actually really interested me about this. Yeah, let me get in there. Yeah, that's always one of the problems with that. You try and take a fighting game concept and put it into a real-world thing. And like I say, like, having to, like, define the characters like that, and their powers, and then because you've created a new character, you've got to create a power for him, and it's a garbage power. And one of the worst parts about the Mortal Kombat movie is they have a perfectly good main character right there who is functional, capable, and is an outsider who can be explained everything as the audience surrogate, and it's Sonya.
The lift is slowing. You've traveled 55 kilometers.
Great. More of them.
They're not crossing the water.
No, but they are moving quicker. Look at that. They're moving at my speed now. That's concerning.
I wonder if it's edible. I'm starving. Best thing I ever had.
It copies me doing that. Huh. Yeah, I think, like, overall, the 95 MK movie... No, either damn good grapes or the food in the future is terrible. The 95 MK movie is just more fun. Oh boy. It's more fun, the characters are more distinctive, it feels like. Christopher Lambert's Raiden is always going to be classic. Yeah, there is that. There's the bad news. So what the game's doing here is essentially teaching us. Ow! Yeah, I knew once it started moving at my speed, it was going to be a problem. Alright, let's try that again. Yeah, Christopher Lambert as Raiden, like, a lot of fun. Like, a fun mentor character. And I feel like that's underrated as a concept. Like, Raiden in the 2020 MK movie is truer to the games as they have become now. Of like, Raiden is a serious mentor who is also actually a dick. God damn it. But he ends up being like both less likable and less interesting. Hey, Titanium. How you doing, buddy? Alright, so I think we've seen enough for you guys to understand the premise now. Everything I do while the lights are up, they'll start doing in the next cycle. I'm walking in the water. They've copied that, and now the next cycle, they're going to walk in the water. So it creates, going back to the idea that was suggested earlier of resource management, it creates a whole new concept of resource management. Okay, the lights are down, let's go. There we go. And now the lights are back up, so everything I did in the last cycle, they can do now. Which includes walking in the water. And so there's like one of the most interesting cases of resource management in a game I've ever seen. By conserving your abilities, you make your next cycle easier for yourself. When the lights go down and back up. Because the thing the game hasn't explained to us yet is that they reset when the lights go down. Do you mind? Go. Yeah, so like, there's the thing there of I'm not sprinting while the lights are up. Because if they start sprinting after me, I may well be fucked.
I think there's more to it. I have a weird feeling that the palace is registering my moves.
Oh, there we go, they're actually explaining it themselves now.
Then using the information to improve the abilities of those things.
A little far between the dots there, Anne.
I just feel like there's some strange rhythm to it. A warped set of rules.
You are
I'm not
definitely
sure.
disposed to find meaning where there is none. As you say, it's in your genes.
It's like there was a point where it felt like it was time-based, but then there was a little while where it felt like the lights were going out on a progression basis. Maybe it depends at which point in the game you're at. But you'll notice, like, I took down some of the enemies from behind, and they haven't done that yet. I just copied me opening a door, didn't it? Time-based would be easy to cheese depending on what the interval is. Like, if it's a, yeah, they're copying me opening the door. If it's a short interval, yes. But if those intervals last for like 10 minutes, then, like, that's a problem. So it becomes the case of everything I do is going to make the next cycle harder for myself. I shoot one, they'll start pulling out guns. I jump over one of these little dividers here, they'll start doing that. I sprint, they'll start sprinting. I take one down from behind, they'll start trying to take me down from behind. And that's the premise that sold me on this. Just never move. Ah, crap. It's not a bad idea, Clem, but all they're giving me is grapes. But then that also ties into like why I'm specifically only sprinting during the dark sections, because they're not recording you in the dark. Catch him with that diarrhea. I feel like I might just create a problem for myself there that I hadn't considered. It recorded me there when I closed the door. Oh no, these things are copies, we're the original. It's not a case of we're one of them that's gained sentience, these things are copies. And now, like, my refusal to sprint is kind of becoming an issue. Go. That's concerning. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, I brought the cube to the palace to bring somebody back to life. Yeah, I thought they would shut down in the dark, and it turned out that they didn't, which was... You know, the Borg is an interesting concept of that.
They learn from me. I'm certain of it. They can't cross the water, but after I've done it and a blackout has evolved them, they do it without hesitation. And you saw how they were trapped behind the doors, pacing to get to me, and after I opened a few, And a blackout, it was second nature to them.
Oh boy. Yeah, they spotted me.
Not crossing the water. So much for your theory.
There you
That
go.
makes perfect sense. They stopped doing what I stopped doing.
They don't retain the knowledge because if I'm not doing that, then they believe that's redundant. Which, like I say, is why I'm not sprinting. But if I do sprint, I have one cycle to get rid of that. No, she's talking to the computer that's in the ship that we started in, which we left before you guys joined. That was the start of the game. Basically an artificial intelligence in the ship we came in. So the only thing it should have taken there, I think, should be walking through water. It's actually called London.
I'm curious to learn more about that theory of yours. The one where everything makes perfect sense.
Don't you see it?
I did do some crouching.
Unlearn.
That's a fair point.
It's all tied to the blackout cycles. When the lights are on, the palace keeps track of my actions, registering what I do with those.
You could make them hard to spot, but it
At the
didn't
same
seem
time,
like I
it will
crouched long enough for it to
to
copy me.
update the copies. That's what's causing the blackouts. I get no ghosts when the lights are out. So my guess is that the palace is blind while it's rebooting. When the lights come back on, their abilities match my actions from the previous light cycle. Well, that would explain why they wouldn't cross the water up there. I didn't touch any water in the light cycle before I reached them.
They echo your behavior.
Yes, echoes. That's exactly what they are.
Well, that's the credit sequence. Bye, everybody. Is it that meme? Like, say the name of the thing, and then, like, roll credits. Metroid Prime 2 echoes. Okay, this looks different.
They're coming. Hurry, get out.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Run faster, Ed. That was interesting. As soon as I stepped in here, they stopped. Oh.
The sphere just turned off. That means the echoes are not coming, right?
You sound like naming them explains everything. To me, the logic of it all only makes the whole thing more absurd. Someone intentionally designed it to be this way.
I expected there'd be some obstacles to getting Foster back.
You were prepared for this? In your training, I mean.
Gods no. Gramps did talk of great challenges and equally great rewards, but
This feels like a behind-the-scenes thing.
You admit he was wrong.
Yes and no. I think he managed to find the words, but not their meaning.
It's interesting now, it's uniformly clean structures, and then that kind of design. Strange contrast, doesn't fit.
So, any words in your teachings about who built this place?
That's the thing. None of us ever knew this place existed. He always gestured at a walled enclosure in the uppermost garden when he talked about the palace.
I think we all imagine splendid halls filled with the chosen ones who mastered a self-control so deep it could overcome even death.
Well, I mean, GLaDOS went to space.
He just didn't get into the specifics. If we passed the trials all the way to the upper terrace, we would be granted access to the passage. The ones who entered never returned to tell.
The translation?
I know that now. Back then, we all thought the passage meant the final test. The big one this time. The flesh and the soul shall enter the palace through separate doors.
Well, Wheatley does get dumped out in space along with the space core. But when you open the portal to the moon, you end up grabbing onto GLaDOS, who pulls you back in.
I can see why you would all strive for that.
That wasn't the selling point. The challenge and reward stuff was. Being a resourceful is constant competition, always performing to the best of your ability.
I'm probably never going to actually do Portal on stream.
Others must lose, and losing...
Mostly because I've done it.
Competition breeds
And a lot of the charm of Portal and Portal 2 is its writing.
Excellence was valued by everyone. The more...
And, you know, I'll just be talking over it.
In the end, everybody won.
That's quite the social construct, considering the consequences of losing.
That was Gramps' way. He didn't preach. It was pure reasoning. The program made sure all resourcefuls were logically disposed to follow his line of argument to its conclusion. How can you deny perfection?
How could you?
Spontaneity, chaos, life. That's how you prove yourself. Why spend eternity to make the best possible you? Potential without release.
I have no idea where I'm going. That'd be on PC, though. That said, like, I've never actually played through Half-Life. Like, the only thing I've done of Half-Life is the Hazard course. And then, like, when I got Half-Life on Steam, and like, did the Hazard course, and then changed the resolution to actually match my screen resolution, and then it zoomed in too big and I could never reset it, so I never ended up playing Half-Life. But I've got Half-Life on PS2, and I've been meaning to do that for a while. And then I've got the orange box on Xbox. So I've been thinking, like, you know, that would be a decent set of blind playthroughs at some point. I have played Half-Life 2 before, on original Xbox. But I never finished it, because the copy of the game that I had had a scratch on it, so I think I got to the end of Ravenholm and then couldn't really get any further. Yeah. I think if I was going to do Portal 2 again, I'd be down to do the co-op. It's been long enough since I've done the co-op that I'll have forgotten everything. The issue with that is I'd have to buy Portal 2 on PS3 or 360 again.
Strange archway.
It's a suspended Y field. Never seen a vertical one before.
It looks like you're supposed to pass through. What does it do?
Shouldn't do anything. It's self-contained.
The arches will save your progress. Nice you introduced that like 2 hours in. But yeah, like, I'd have to get Portal 2 again and find somebody else to get Portal 2 on that system as well. All because I can't really stream from PC. Yeah, you gotta love it when somebody misspells something and then also misspells the correction. Just kind of funny. Yeah, they can use elevators next cycle. There it is. There we go. The only thing I did there was use an elevator. Let's try up there then. Yeah, not that way. Interesting question, man. But they definitely know how to do it. Oh, this one goes down. Cool. But yeah, this is why I love going off the beaten path in gaming, like away from like the AAA stuff. Because you end up with such interesting ideas. Even if it's not particularly well executed. I'm still way more down to play this than I am whatever Ubisoft's throwing out this week. There you go, calling is an action. Yeah, like low budget movies compared to Hollywood. It's not that your Hollywood movies or your AAA games in gaming are uniformly bad. It's just you find the more interesting ideas when you go a little outside the beaten path. Does this go down? It does not. That'll go up. That's fair, man. And to be fair, like most of the stuff they put out these days isn't worth doing anyway. I'll still go back to like old Activision Blizzard, old Activision stuff like pre-Blizzard merger, and like old Ubisoft stuff, because it was good stuff. They did some interesting stuff and good games, and Activision also for ages held like a monopoly on the Marvel licenses. That is very fair. Cannot disagree with that. Uh-oh. Of course, with the older stuff as well, like, no matter how I buy that, as long as it's not digital, Activision is not gonna get anything from me. Later. Crap. Do you mind I was using that? Yeah, like, talk about like the Marvel stuff that they did that I quite like. And it's like, Activision is not getting any money from that because the only way to do it is get it physically now. Damn. They look just like me, Star, because they're copying me and the things that I do. At the end of the day, like, I'm never gonna endorse something like buying the latest Call of Duty. Mostly because fuck that. Of course, if you wanted to go back and pick up one of the older Call of Duties, like, get yourself a physical copy. Like, I have a physical copy of Call of Duty 2 and Modern Warfare on Xbox 360. Largely because, like, the price of them digital is bullshit. Yeah, here's these, like, here's a 15-year-old game. Give us £25 for it. Like, no, Activision, no. Later, bitches. I've been considering that. And it's an interesting idea, but again, with them copying me, I really don't want to chance that. Because if I can, then they can. What is that?
This is new.
Manifest corruption.
Didn't expect that.
It triggered an instant blackout.
Probably to correct the anomaly.
It didn't fix it. It just moved.
That's interesting. See one of these gonna do it on command? So if I see one of those, I can end a cycle instantly. Huh. Alright, what is this? Bludgeon them. Ah, that could be useful. Feel like I don't want to bludgeon an enemy with it though, or throw it at an enemy. Because if I do, then they'll start throwing them at me. And it's like, you know what? Don't want that. No thank you. Over there. Alright. I'll be honest with you, I do want to throw this at somebody. That'd be my guess, mate. Which is part of the reason why I'm like, I don't want to throw this at anybody. There we go. Yeah. Back there. Hold there. Yeah, my guess would be that they can pick it up, but if I don't do anything with it in the light, then they can't do anything with it either. So the most I want to do with it in the light is gonna be distraction. Because if I'm aware of that, then the distraction will be less useful to them. Same goes with bludgeoning them. If I bludgeon them, they'll start picking that up, and that could be an instant kill on me if one of them catches me with one. Go. Slow speed chases. Slow, but no less tense. Oh, great. It feels like they move faster than I do. Like maybe just a little. There you go, picked it up. The problem is, like, what's she gonna do with it? Nothing. Excellent. If I bludgeoned that other one in the light, then, like, we'd have the issue. She would have bludgeoned me there, and that'd probably be an instant kill. Okay, I'm safe in the water. There's more up there.
More corruption.
There we go, fresh cycle. Yeah, that was my thinking. They might have learned it from the previous cycle, I don't entirely remember, but they didn't spot me. I need a save point. Okay, if I quit here, where will I return? It's gonna be like the last place I was, isn't it? It's frustrating. Where's the next save? Great, one of these again. I'm not gonna have the time to do this. But, you know, there's Echo. Definitely want to continue this. I'm glad I played it on stream now. I definitely want to continue this. Scheduled to be doing more Persona 3 with Chance later tonight. So, I look forward to that. If Chance is unable to make it for whatever reason, here's hoping. It had saving before that, definitely did. But if Chance is unable to make it for Persona 3, I guess we'll continue this later. But yeah, I want to thank everybody who joined the stream. I always really appreciate the support. Big special thank you to everybody in the chat. Chat is always the best part of the stream. May, Clem, Titanium, Teak, and Star. And that was everybody. Okay, so this is the checkpoint. Hopefully it saves me actually here. But I guess we'll see. But yeah. Yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this. You've all seemed pretty interesting, and I look forward to coming back to it. But in the meantime, thank you all for watching. Have yourselves a fantastic time of day, and take care. Catch you later, guys. Bye.